I started creating as a teen, and it has completely changed my life for the better. 2 years ago, I would have never thought I would be at this point. And really, all it took me was just a few months of consistency and being willing to put myself out there. And this matters so much today because AI is starting to take over everything, and people are starting to crave real human connection. And so being able to network, being able to post videos, being able to build your own brand and build your own business is going to be so important because AI can't take those things away from you. The one thing that changed everything for me was the fact that I was willing to take the first step and just start. There are so many people out there who are scared to start a business, scared to start posting videos, scared to do this and that. But once you just get over that barrier, and literally all it takes is the first step. Once you get over that first hoop, then you literally can't go back. Failure is literally not an option once you get past that first hoop because you've already completed the first step. One of the main reasons I started creating was because I felt like I had some sort of potential, but I didn't have any direction. So I wanted to document my process of finding my direction. And I thought that would be a good way to network with new people and be able to build my direction and find what I actually want to do. Because in high school, I took a construction class. And originally, I thought construction was going to be like my main thing. And once I got done taking the class, I was like, heck no. My back would be broken after 5 years. And I realized that was something I didn't want to do. And so many people today go straight into college. They don't know what they want to do. And then they get stuck in a major that they don't want to do. And so that's why I'm trying to figure out the things that I enjoy now so I don't have to figure that out later. And another reason why I started was because school just wasn't enough for me. You know, I would do my assignments, I'd get my little packets and stuff, I'd write essays, all that good stuff. And that stuff, I enjoy some of that stuff. But I wasn't able to put my creative input. And so that's why I started creating videos, because I can start putting my creative knowledge, my creative ideas. My brain runs all the time because I have ADHD and stuff. I just started channeling my brain into my content. And that's how I've come up with all these creative ideas. And that's how I've generated over 10 million views on my UGC content. Because I like being creative and I can develop an authentic connection with people. And also, let's be real. I was just a 16-year-old kid doom scrolling on TikTok, playing Clash Royale, playing Fortnite all day. And so I just felt stupid and I wanted to just change, I wanted to start doing something that felt real. And so I felt like content creation was something I could easily get into, and it's something I can channel my creative energy because I like editing. I like making videos. I like talking about random stuff, right? And another thing that motivated me was because I was seeing a bunch of 13-year-olds going crazy on social media and networking with some crazy people just because they were willing to take that first step. They're willing to post a video. They were willing to go out there and try something. At first, I started with no confidence. I thought everybody was going to make fun of me. I thought everybody was going to think I'm weird. And I obviously started off with 0 followers and no special skills. When I first started, I had no idea what editing was. But I watched over 10 hours of YouTube videos about editing and all the tips for retention, all the tips for how to edit a good video. That is now under my belt. And so the main thing I've learned from this, and also I've always been the quiet kid in school, right? So automatically when you think of quiet kids, you think of all those stereotypes and how they can't be of good use in this society because they can't do this or that. So I wanted to try to make an impact and prove to other people that even though I might be weird or a quiet kid, it does not matter. You can still do what you want. My biggest win was when I first got my first brand deal. I signed a contract for $400. I made 10 videos or something. That was when I first realized that this is real. Something can happen out of this. And all it took me was posting a few videos and convincing someone that I can deliver real results. And I started realizing that my creative ideas really worked because I was posting content for AI tools and I'd be getting millions of views on these videos. And that's when I started realizing that my creative concepts were working. and my trend analysis was working. And that's when I realized that, like, this is real. This is actually happening. And that first brand deal was a huge momentum shift for me because I had gone 2 months without getting any content paid for and without getting any brand deals at all. So my first brand deal was absolutely huge for me because it took me over 2 months to get started and to post my first video, right? But I was being consistent. I was consistently reaching out to brands. I was consistently applying to job postings. I was consistently going out there and putting myself out there. And eventually, somebody had a little bit of faith in me. And that's when everything just snapped for me. So this felt huge because once you take that first step, everything starts to snowball. So once you get your first brand deal, you'll get your second one, third one, fourth one, it just keeps going. So that was huge for me. And everyone thinks social media is fake, right? You can't actually make money from this stuff. It's just stupid videos, right? But it really isn't luck. And everyone on, like, you always see those TikTok accounts where they just post stuff about how to grow online, which settings you should use on TikTok to get 1 million views. And that really doesn't work. You actually have to post good content. That's some setting in your TikTok is not going to get you 1 million views. You have to be willing to put in the work, to find ideas, to be creative. You don't have to copy everybody else to be successful in the online space. And creating content online kind of forced me into these skills. I had to learn a lot of skills forcibly because without them, I wouldn't be able to make content. So I learned editing very quickly. I watched over 10 hours worth of YouTube videos. It was a grind, but CapCut, thanks for all the... I've been on CapCut for like 50 hours, dude. It's a grind. And then I also had to learn pacing and retention. So what hooks work? What call to actions work? How to make an effective storytelling video. You have to understand what keeps people watching. Is it the language you use? Is it the value you provide? Whatever it is, you have to stick with that. And once something works, you double down on it. So if I have one video that hits 200,000 views, I am going to keep making content similar to that video. I'm going to use the same hook. I'm going to use the same structure. You have to know what works and then use that to your advantage. Because again, the snowball effect I was talking about. Once you get one thing that works, keep using it. What's stopping you? Another thing I had to learn was cold pitches. One of the biggest things creators make a huge mistake on is pitching. They pitch themselves like they're just trying to get free stuff. They will do anything for one video, or they will do anything for a little bit of work, right? But once you realize that your content has value, you have result. Once you have results, once you have value, then you should not be working for free. You should not be charging the littlest amount for your stuff. It's just like in a real job. You wouldn't want to get paid dirt money for doing one of the hardest jobs on earth, right? I'm not saying content is the hardest job on earth. I'm just saying that start knowing that you have value. Start using that value to your advantage and start positioning yourself as a pro. Fake it till you make it, right? If you position yourself as a pro and you have results, then you shouldn't be asking for bare minimum. And also, kind of back to the thing where I was talking about how I was like quiet kid in school or whatever. Content creation has kind of got me out of my shell a little bit because now that I'm comfortable on camera and I already know people see my videos, I already know my friends are probably going to watch this video. Talking on camera has helped me talk in real life. It's helped me to realize that like we're on some galaxy. Nobody cares. Like you can do whatever you want. Nothing's going to happen to you. Obviously, don't do anything illegal. But content has also helped me to explain ideas simply because in the content world, you have to be short, punchy, and straight to the point. Because if you aren't, well, then people will just scroll past. So even this has transferred into real life when I'm talking to business partners and stuff. I just have to be straight at the point, be direct. You can't beat around the bush. I've learned confidence through repetition. So speaking to others, speaking to people, getting on interviews, all that stuff, you learn that through repetition. So if you're presenting at Google your first day, obviously it's not going to be good. But if you were presenting at Google your 20th time, you're probably going to do good. So start practicing, start getting some repetition in. One of the biggest skills I've had to learn was showing up when I don't want to. I was tired today. I stayed up late last night. but you got to start showing up even when you don't want to. You got to realize that consistency is better than motivation, because you can be motivated all you want. You can post 5 videos in a day, but what happens tomorrow? You won't have that same drive. So start being consistent. You don't have to be some TikTok demon and post 20 videos in a day. Whatever works for you. If you get off work at McDonald's at 3 p.m. and you only have time to post a video at 4 p.m., do that every day. And I started realizing the results come from effort. You can't expect the best out of everything. You might edit a video based on a viral reference video, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, this video is going to get 1 million views. And then you post it, gets 10 views. Okay. You got to start realizing that even if you do the best, sometimes it won't work out for you. And that's where the consistency I was talking about earlier comes into play. Be consistent even if the results aren't there. Because every time you take a step up that staircase, you're one step closer. And you got to start doing the things that most teenagers don't even think about. So start, if you're at a career fair, start talking to the people there about, internships. Start networking. Start doing stuff that other teenagers aren't doing. And once you get to the point where you're making money from your skills and not the hours, because getting paid by the hour is so painful. And some of the parts that nobody sees when you're becoming a creator or when you're starting a business is the people who do end up hating on you, or they do think you're cringe. And honestly, me personally, I kind of think this is cool when people hate on you, because it just gives me more motivation and drive to, if they're like, oh, I only have 1,000 followers. Well, then I'll be like, oh, let's get 10,000. Let's prove them wrong, And sometimes you will work so hard. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I'll be sending like a ton of emails out. I'll be sending out 3 hours worth of emails, and then I get no responses. And sometimes that just happens. But that's where consistency comes in. Because let's say I send, for 30 days straight, I send 40 emails per day, and then none of them get a response. And then so I give up, right? But let's say another alter ego in me sends another 40 emails the next day, and then I get one reply, and that reply lands me a new job. That's consistency. That is called consistency. Just showing up even if the results aren't there, because you know it's going to work. One of the moments I realized where I was actually impacting people in the real world was when people started DMing me for like help on certain aspects of their content, and people were asking for advice on this or that. And that really like encouraged me, because I knew I was impacting people for the good and helping people change their lives and start something. That's like my main motto of my channel. Just start. And yeah, when I first got my first DM asking for advice, it was just a great feeling, because I knew I was impacting somebody and I could use my knowledge to help them in a better way. And that's how creating content has just changed my life for the better, because I can start helping people, and I enjoy helping people. It makes me feel good. I want other teens to realize that you are not too young to start. You are not too young to try things. And I know that you want to focus on school, right? And that's important. School is important because it's required. If you don't do school, you won't, that it's required. But you're not too young to try things in your free time. So if you like drawing, if you like art, start doing that consistently, whatever it is. Or if you want to start a business, just do it, bro. If you just start today, it will snowball so much. You have to realize that any amount of effort you put in, if you keep showing up consistently, keep putting that effort in, it will get paid back. Because a little bit of small progress definitely shows up over time. Definitely shows up. And if you fail and when you try something, so what? You already know you failed at a young age, so now you don't have to fail in the future. And so I'm a quiet kid in school. I'm the traditional weird kid at class, the awkward kid. But I want this to inspire people. You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be a NVIDIA CEO to try something. You just have to be willing to take the first step. And so that's why I want people to start now, so they have options later. Because if you start that business and you realize, I don't really like this, or you start that job at, JP Morgan, and you're like, I don't really like this. I wish I did something else with my life. That's why you just got to start now, You got to figure out what you like, what you enjoy, what you want to do. My goal for where I want to take my content is next, is I want to start something of my own, whether it be my own business. But I want to take my UGC knowledge and my content knowledge and start using that to help others. My goal is like 10,000 followers on like IG for my personal brand or whatever. And I will never stop documenting this journey because I think it's important to show the raw reality, because AI is so crazy now that it's hard to trust something. It's hard to see that human connection. And so I want to just document everything so that 20 years back from now, I can be like, that was cool. He actually showed up. I'm glad he showed up. So if you're a teen, or you're anyone who wants to start a business, or you want to start something new, or you're scared to try something, just do it, dude. We live on a galaxy with 8 billion people, and you don't want to buy that cookbook to learn how to cook and become a chef. You don't want to post your first video because you think people will think you're cringe. You don't want to buy that mountain bike because you think that you won't be good at mountain biking. Whatever it is, I don't care. Just start.